Snow blanketed the small town of Maple Ridge on Christmas Eve, softening every sound until even the church bells seemed to whisper. Inside St. Peter's Church, Pastor Michael stood by a wooden table, staring at a small stack of bread loaves, the last of the food drive supplies. His heart was heavy. The town had fallen on hard times. The local factory had shut down, leaving many families hungry and uncertain. And though he wanted to believe everything would be all right, the truth was painful. There simply wasn't enough to go around. He bowed his head and murmured a prayer, "Lord, how can I feed your people with so little?" The silence that followed seemed endless. Michael had served as pastor for 15 years. He had baptized babies, comforted the dying, and stood by his community through storms, floods, and funerals. But this Christmas Eve tested his faith in a way he had never known. He recalled the words of Jesus, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." But what could he give when even he had nothing left to give? Just as he was about to close the doors for the night, he heard a faint voice. An elderly woman stepped inside, her coat worn thin, her hands trembling from the cold. "Pastor," she whispered, "do you have a piece of bread, just one?" Michael froze. He glanced at the basket, 3 loaves left, meant for 20 hungry families. Logic told him to say no, to save what was left for tomorrow. But his heart told him something else. He looked into her tired eyes and saw the same quiet desperation he had seen in so many lately. He picked up a loaf and pressed it into her hands. "Take it," he said softly. "God provides." The woman's eyes glistened. "He just did," she replied with a faint smile, then disappeared into the falling snow. That night, long after everyone had gone home, Pastor Michael sat alone by candlelight, questioning his decision. He replayed the moment in his mind over and over. Had he done the right thing? What if that one loaf could have fed a family tomorrow? His faith trembled under the weight of doubt. He prayed again, but this time not for bread, for understanding. For reassurance that his small act of kindness wasn't in vain. Morning came quietly. The first rays of sunlight broke through the stained glass windows, filling the church with a gentle glow. Michael walked toward the kitchen, expecting emptiness. But what he found stopped him cold. The tables were overflowing, piled high with loaves of fresh bread, baskets of fruit, and boxes of canned food. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming. He rushed outside to find half the town gathered in front of the church, laughing, hugging, and unloading donations. And right at the center stood the same elderly woman from the night before, her eyes sparkling with warmth. Her name, it turned out, was Mrs. Langley. Years ago, she had been the town's best baker until she lost her bakery, her home, and everything she owned. The loaf Michael had given her had reminded her of what kindness felt like. That night, she had shared her story online, telling people how one act of compassion had restored her faith in God and humanity. By morning, her story had reached hundreds, and people came from all around Maple Ridge with food and supplies to help. Through tears, she told Michael, "Your kindness lit a fire, Pastor. I just wanted others to feel it too." That day, the once empty church was filled with laughter, music, and the smell of warm bread. Every hungry family in Maple Ridge was fed more than ever before. Michael stood near the altar, watching his community come alive again, and felt something deep stir in his heart. When someone asked how it all began, he smiled and said, "With one act of kindness and a little faith." That night, as candles glowed across the pews and the choir sang softly, Pastor Michael placed a single loaf of bread beside a small wooden cross. He looked up at the light shining through the stained glass and whispered, This is what Christ meant. Kindness isn't just a word, it's the gospel in action. Outside, snow continued to fall, quiet and pure, like grace descending from heaven. Sparkle's message: in Christianity, kindness isn't just charity, it's love made visible. When one heart dares to give, even in scarcity, God multiplies the blessing.